Ovid, the Metamorphoses, Episode 11, The Crash. Phaethon finally arrived at Apollo's temple and was overwhelmed by the building's detailed architecture. Upon entering the temple, Phaethon saw Apollo on his throne, surrounded by spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Also present in the temple were day, month, year, and century. Apollo welcomed his son and asked what brought him to the temple. Hesitant, Phaethon asked Apollo for definitive proof that he was Apollo's son. Apollo was saddened by his son's doubt and reassured him that Clymene spoke the truth. To satisfy his son's doubt, Apollo swore on the river Styx to grant Phaethon any wish of his choice. Phaethon replied, saying that he wished to pilot Apollo's chariot. This request instantly alarmed Apollo, who stated that Phaethon was a mortal and therefore lacked the strength to pilot the chariot. Indeed, Apollo stressed that this task was only suitable for him, as not even Jupiter could steer the chariot. Apollo noted that, for example, Phaethon would be unable to handle Taurus's horns, the archer, the lion, and the scorpion's claws. Furthermore, there was the issue of the horses which dragged the chariot, as Apollo sometimes struggled to control them. With all these concerns outlined, Apollo begged Phaethon to reconsider his request, but Phaethon was undeterred. Unable to go back on his promise, Apollo reluctantly took his son to the chariot. Ecstatic, Phaethon quickly jumped in the chariot and took flight. However, Phaethon quickly lost control of the horses, which began steering off course and dragged the chariot into the heavens. Phaethon understood the danger he was in and regretted ignoring his father's warnings. Phaethon then encountered the scorpion and, in panic, dropped the reins, which caused the horses to run in different directions, dragging the chariot further off course. The horses, now under no control, began burning the earth. Cities were engulfed in flames, forests burnt, and the Sahara Desert emerged from the waters drying up, whilst other rivers evaporated elsewhere. As a result, Mother Earth suffered and called on Jupiter for help as Atlas was struggling to hold the Earth up, which was detrimental as his failure would mean absolute chaos. Jupiter heard the Earth's call and sent a lightning bolt to demolish the chariot and prevent further damage. Phaethon, ablaze, plummeted to the earth while the horses fled. Eridanus, a river god, caught Phaethon's corpse and extinguished the flames. Then the Hesperian nymphs carried Phaethon's corpse to be buried. Apollo was devastated and hid his face to mask his sadness. Meanwhile, Clymene anxiously searched for a child's remains, and eventually reached Phaethon's grave. Clymene wept for her son, as did her 3 daughters. Phaethon's sisters wept for their brother throughout the days and the nights. Then, suddenly, they started transforming into trees. Clymene reached for her daughters, but her efforts were futile. Then, Caicnus, Phaethon's best friend and suspected lover, wept for his friend until he transformed into a swan, a bird cautious of fire, as this was the cause of his friend's death. Apollo continued to mourn his son and angrily cried out for someone else to manage his duties with the chariot. Apollo then blamed Jupiter, claiming that Jupiter had no understanding of how difficult it is to control the chariot, and thus had no right to kill Phaethon for being unable to steer it. The other gods visited Apollo and begged him to return to his duties. Indeed, Jupiter justified his actions and threatened Apollo if he continued to refuse fulfilling his godly obligations. Thus, Apollo returned to his duties, but now punished his horses, for they had betrayed him and his son.